Today's show is packed. Stick around. Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. Welcome to Keep Shooting Monday number 27. This week's show, I have a number of things I wanted to go over. First thing that I will mention is we were going to go over our new photo assignment as well as last week's patriotism assignment winners. We actually have a nice international group of winners that I chose, so some really nice photos to share with you this week. In the news, first big announcement is Canon's new 70D. It is an excellent camera. I'm going to highly recommend this camera. The specs seem really good, so if you're a Canon shooter, you've been waiting for an upgrade, this might be the upgrade for you. Specs include 20 megapixel sensor, 19 cross-type AF system, 7 frames per second, dual pixel CMOS AF. We'll go over that in a second. Instant sharing and remote control via Wi-Fi. That's interesting. ISO 12800. Vari angle. 7.7mm clear view 2 LCD touchscreen. Intelligent viewfinder. Full HD movies. Yada yada yada. So the specs seem really good. And the new autofocus in the live view mode or movie mode seem to be excellent. There's actually a couple videos out there. I'll post a link to them, that you can see and watch that autofocus work, and it's actually really impressive. So it's getting better and better. That's really the last difference in between a DSLR and your big, huge movie cameras is the autofocus performance. And so the quality is just going to keep getting better and better, and that's where we're at now. We finally have some excellent cameras with some excellent autofocus performance, and this generation that's coming out now, that's really what we're getting, is some awesome autofocus performance. Other than that, you know, the images are the same. The ISO is kind of staying in the same area, but of course our noise is getting less. The colors are getting a little better, more true, and so that definitely helps. But yeah, 70D, check that out. Excellent camera. Highly recommended for you guys that like the Canons. Not me. I won't buy one because you guys, you know, I'm a Nikon guy. But anyway, it seems like an excellent camera. Next thing, Canon, Nikon, Sigma, and Tamron all have rebates out there right now. So make sure you check those out. I actually have links and some more details in the description underneath the video as well as on the website. So you can check those out with links to head over and buy some items from Amazon and pick up a new lens and get that rebate, all that good stuff. If you are looking for another body, this is the time to buy. A few more things from the news this week. Number one is the Nikon put out a VR set of standards. Basically, the SIPA, which is an organization that helps us as consumers understand what's going on with our cameras, they put out a request so that all camera manufacturers with VR, IS, all the other OS and everybody else, all those things. Basically, it allows us as consumers to understand, okay, what is this 70-200 VR2? What's its actual VR performance versus the Canon, versus the Tamron, versus the this, versus the that. And so they put out a request to everyone, all the camera manufacturers, lens manufacturers, to get that standard together. Nikon is the first one to put that information out there, and here's a link to that information over on Nikon Rumors. Second thing I wanted to mention is Nikon put out an interesting new patent in Japan where basically it's a removable heatsink, I guess. I've actually had this happen with my D3S where I was shooting outdoors and it was hot one day, shooting video for a long time, and the camera overheated and shut down on me. And so I've actually had that issue before, so this would be a step in the right direction. Once again, I love to see innovation and camera manufacturers pushing the edge because us as consumers are the ones that are benefiting. Last thing that you have got to check out. Please look at this trailer. It's a 1-minute trailer or so, something like that. It's all about the photographs that are taken in outer space in Saturn's rings, I think it's called. It's like a 1-minute video. There's absolutely no CGI, no special effects, no video, no nothing. It is made from real photographs. Talking about turning this into a real 4K or 6K IMAX movie, and I cannot wait. When this comes out on IMAX, I am going to run to see this. I was just spellbound. I just watched it again, and I'm still literally, before I started shooting this segment, I was watching this again, and it's just like, wow, it is just amazing. Some of the shots, the ones that really got to me, are the ones where you see the moon and Earth, and it's just so small, and you see the movement, and it's from real photographs. And I just, we can appreciate how difficult it is to create some of this stuff, but everyone putting it all together, and it's absolutely amazing. So please take the time to head over and watch that video. Couple Cazillion questions this week. First one was about this guy, my Black Rapid RS7. And if you're above average like me, I'm above average, I can't help it. Height, weight, everything about me is above average. The regular RS Sports don't fit. They're for the little guys. They're for the little teeny guys that can fit, the little guys, those guys. Sorry if you're a little guy, that's just the way you are. But if you're above average like me, you need to have a man-size camera strap. The RS7 is the one that fits the bill. You order the RS7, and then you get the Burt extension, all right? And that's this guy right here. It's just a little tiny extension, dude. Isn't very much. I actually don't use all of it. So if you're really above average, then it'll still probably fit you. But so I use those things, and I forget what these things are. These little things, basically they're Velcro straps and tabs that keep the camera from getting disconnected and falling on the floor. Someone would happen to walk up behind you or something and hit that little, what's the word I'm looking for? That little clip right there. It's not gonna fall apart, which is nice. So yeah, Black Rapid RS7. I'll put a link to that over on Amazon, so you can go ahead and pick that up. I've been carrying this thing forever. Love my Black Rapid. Don't go anywhere without it. It's always in my camera bag. I'm purchasing my first DSLR in 2 weeks. Since I'm a beginner, I've looked at the 3200 and D5100. Any advice and suggestions? Which would be a better buy for me? After the camera, I plan to invest in good lenses. My suggestion, Andy, is actually to stay away from the D3100, stay away from the D5100, 5200, whatever the newest one is, and go right for the new D7100. And here is the #1 reason: because the higher end the camera, the more external buttons it has. When you have more external buttons, it actually makes the camera easier to use. A lot of people get frustrated when they have to go into the menu, and I know this from firsthand from teaching a lot of beginning photography classes. People don't want to go into the menu, they hate the menu system, they don't understand it, they can never follow along. And so when you have the external buttons and the external button combinations, it makes it a lot easier to use, to change that ISO, to change the shutter speed, to change the aperture. That was the one that I missed. And so go for the better body in the beginning. That one body is going to last you a lot longer. If you would buy a 70D or a D7100 right now, that camera's probably going to last you a good 5 years. Buy a couple of extra lenses, maybe buy a flash as you're going along, and that equipment is going to last you a long time. And so if you can spend the money, the $1,200 or so for either of those cameras, I would definitely recommend to go with one of those rather than, say, a T3i or a T4i, or I think they make a T5 now, something like that. Same with the D3100 or 3200s, the 5000 series Nikons, 3000 series Nikons. Stay away from those for right now. Unless you really are entry level and you don't plan on really getting much better, you're only going to be on program mode. If you want to really learn, go with the better body. You're going to be very glad that you did, because you're going to have those external buttons and you're going to be able to actually apply it, shoot in manual. It's going to be much easier. I'm having problems with bright light from the windows. What's the best way to avoid getting washed out windows? In a photo like this one, Frederick, it actually does happen often where you have the windows blown out. But in this particular case, I added flash, and that is the #1 way to balance that. Add some flash. You will need to understand your flash exposure, Basically, you're going to increase the power of the flash and then increase your shutter speed, keeping your ISO and your aperture down where they are. Get a good balance and put all those together. It will take some practice in order to get that right, but it is the #1 way to get a really beautiful image without that weird washed out, blown out window look. I do a lot of interior photographs, and I do it all the time, so I have not found another better way besides bringing in all kinds of floodlights and this and that and super expensive equipment, which you probably are not going to have. So get a couple of strobes, maybe a stand and a softbox, an umbrella, something like that, and you'll be able to balance that light and make really nice photos like these couple here. What are the ISO settings for taking pictures in the church and for taking pictures outside the church? There is no right answer when it comes to ISO, period. Indoors, I've used everything from, say, ISO 200, 100, all the way up to 102,000 indoors in a church. Outdoors, same thing. I've gone everywhere from, say, 200, 100, all the way up to 6400, 3200, 102,000. I've done the entire gamut as far as my ISO. Basically, the only right answer to this is you need to understand your exposure better. You need to understand what the aperture does, what the shutter speed does, and what the ISO does. I'm actually going to be redoing my exposure video, but in the meantime, take a look at this one right here. It's actually one of the first videos that I put up way back when, and so take a look at it, start to understand your exposure. It's a really good explanation of it, and so the first step is to understand how your camera is working, how it's making its exposure. Then you can judge your ISO and understand how the meter works, all that good stuff. And so there really is no right answer. Sorry about that. You just need to understand the camera. That's the right answer. This week's photo assignment is flowers. You have 2 weeks from today or so. Next Friday, posted by 5 o'clock over to the forum, Eastern time, that is. Any kind of a flower photo. It could only have one flower in it. That's fine. As long as it has a flower in there somewhere, you can post it up there. Doesn't matter. Make sure you use your good rules of composition, good exposure. It could be a nighttime, could be a daytime, could be any kind of a time. Give me some really cool flower photos. Could be studio if you really want it. If you do need a primer on flower photography, head over to this video that I posted a while back, which is an awesome video on flower photography. Get you interested in it, get you started. And so any questions, tweet them to me, all the usual spots. So my chosen 3 for the patriotism photo assignment are these coming up here, but I really can't organize them in a 1, 2, 3. They all kind of stand out on their own, and they all make awesome images. What was it? Jim, Bren, and Jose. Thank you very much for posting them. They are my favorites. Each of them stand out in their own way and really speak on their own. So I just couldn't arrange them in a 1, 2, 3. I like them all. I really think they're even images. First couple here from Jim. Excellent fireworks photos posted. I think he said he shot them at Canada Day this year. Excellent set of images, really good fireworks. By the way, he did watch my fireworks video, and so the exposure settings were really close. Next ones I'm going to mention is this one from Jose, taken at Washington Rock State Park. Awesome photo, waited for the flag to be flying out, and so there's a little bit of wind, and got a nice angle, and you have a leading line there with a path going up to the flag, and overall, excellent image. This kind of image will be something that I would love to see posted really big somewhere. This is one of those that really needs to be printed big for someone to really appreciate the quality of it, and I think it's a really neat image. Last 3 that I'm going to talk about from Bren. Bren is Irish, and the cool thing about these 3 photos that he posted is that he actually put a story in talking about these images. And so if you want to head over to the forum, to this assignment, I'll put another link up there for you. It is a really neat, this group of images here, and he talks about the spire. And initially I'm looking at the spire and I'm saying to myself, why isn't there a flag on there? Because I'm thinking it's just a regular flagpole. but it's actually a spire, and he talks about it. 398 feet tall, I think he said it is, and really cool images, excellent set of photos, and again, more of a picture story-esque kind of a thing. So head over to the forum, check these out, and read Bren's story. So I think that's everything for today, and yep, that's it. Okay, Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting. See ya.